I love my wardrobe. If you're watching this, there's a good chance you do too, or at least you aim to. It's not too common where you find a piece you feel suits your style so perfectly that it's almost an extension of yourself. We have really specific images and ideas in our head when it comes to how we look at ourselves and how we want to be perceived by others. So specific to the point where when you do find that one thing, you instantly know. The perfect fit, color, texture. You don't even want to take it off. Now, imagine this. This thing is one of a kind. You may have paid a lot more than you'd like to admit for it, but it was more than worth it at first. You'd do it again even, but that's impossible. Sometimes in fashion, something that truly speaks to you might just be one of a kind. If not, the cost is probably what's stopping you from doubling down on it. Whatever the reason, let's say you only get one. Eventually, the candle of our clothing is bound to burn out. But the fire that we have inside for this piece still has plenty of fuel left. Now, you're not as lucky to be able to turn back time and reverse the clock on your clothing that was ruined in the past. But you are lucky enough to learn to make time pass slower, for your clothing, at least. I'm going to share with you how I take care of my favorite pieces in my wardrobe to make them last as long as I can. Don't go anywhere. Just sit back and listen to what I do, so you can take something from it that you can use for yourself. You might just save some money, hold on to those gems in your closet longer, or even be less wasteful. To try and make things a little easy to follow, I'm going to be starting from top to bottom in terms of the clothing item. I'm gonna start with things like hats and scarves. This one is pretty simple. Hang them up, keep them off of the floor. Think of it like this. If they're practically floating and not being touched for most of their lifespans, they'll look better longer. Simple so far, right? Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a like. It helps the channel grow, then even more people could learn these tricks to take care of their clothes. Also, thank you so much everybody who watches and who helps me get to over 1,000 followers. If you're going to be spending a decent amount on a good quality coat or jacket, then you can definitely take it a little further and invest in some decent hangers that keep their shape. I like these wooden hangers because with wood, some extra moisture can be absorbed that would otherwise stay in your clothes. And over time, that adds up and it's going to mess up the shape, especially within the shoulders. You might notice that the plastic cheap hangers, they'll droop over time. And if you hang a heavy enough garment, they just will not keep their shape. I probably don't even have to bring up the wired hangers, but the littlest amount of pressure on those things will bend it completely out of shape. Again, we need something firm and strong because jackets, depending on the material, can be very heavy. Something covered in lint and pet hair will give off an entirely different feeling than something that's not. If you wear dark colors a lot, like I do, this is especially important. Lint will make an all-black outfit look messy rather than sleek. You can go from looking like you work at a high-end store to looking like you just crawled out of bed. To fix this, all you need is a lint brush or a lint roller. They sell these things basically everywhere. You could even get them from the dollar store. So there's really no good reason that you shouldn't have one of these. And with garments that have a heavier wool texture, the longer you go without taking lint off of it, the deeper the lint in the hair is going to get into the jacket's fibers. And that's just going to make it way harder to remove once you finally do get to it, if you ever do. Lots of knits after a while get these balls of lint forming over them. There was a sweater I hadn't worn in so long because of these, but once I took all of them off with a fabric shaver, it looked brand new. It doesn't matter how nice the sweater you have on is, and it definitely doesn't matter how much you paid for it. If you're walking around and it has all those lint balls on it, it just doesn't look clean. Try to use these sparingly though. You are shaving off material from your clothes whenever you do use it. So if you excessively use it, eventually there will be nothing left. So in order to avoid getting the lint balls so often, just don't throw your sweaters and your knits all over the place. Take an extra minute, hang it up somewhere, store it in a place where lint and pet hair isn't likely to get on it very easily. The lint balls are created from repetitive friction. So if you mitigate friction when you're not wearing it, you overall reduce the need to use one of these lint shavers, lengthening the lifespan of your knits. Leather coats and jackets are common and they'll always be popular. The perfect leather jacket can be the best part of your outfit. I have this one that I like so much I wish it could last forever. I don't think I could find another one quite like this one, so I take care of this one as best as I can. Like skin, and that's basically what it is, a cured, treated animal hide. Leather cracks, wrinkles, and it ages. So every so often, I brush the leather, I clean it, and I condition it so it doesn't accumulate grime or dry up and crack. An aged or vintage looking leather jacket is a really cool look. But you don't want the leather to crack and peel to show the underlayer. It can even start flaking, and it only creates a mess wherever it is. And that's not what you want. If you have something that's not actual leather, the peeling cannot be delayed by conditioning, in my experience. Shirts are a little bit more tricky to keep up with since it's the base layer and it's up against your skin mostly. So naturally, you have to wash them way more often. I'm not telling you to not wash your shirts. Please keep washing them. But what's crucial in keeping your shirt in a good condition is how you wash it. And obviously this goes for anything that has it, but specifically for shirts. That instruction tag on the inside, they always put them in the most uncomfortable places, so I end up cutting them out for the most part. But if I do cut them out, I'll either keep it and label it so I know where it came from, or I'll be sure to leave a mental note of what the instructions say, how it tells you specifically to wash this garment. Whether it says wash cold, wash hot, whatever it is, it's there to tell you the best way for that specific garment to be washed. Also, wash them inside out, especially if it's a graphic, to reduce cracking and fading of the picture. It's inevitable for the colors and the prints of a shirt to fade eventually, but if you take great care in how you wash it and just follow those little instructions, then these things will accumulate a lot slower. Most of my jewelry is silver or stainless steel. With my stainless steel jewelry, it's in the name, it doesn't stain, and it doesn't show any tarnishing. So while it's good to clean your jewelry, especially piercings, stainless steel isn't really going to look dirty. But with silver, it should have that stamp somewhere inside of it, the 9.25. Depending on how the silver is treated, they'll show various levels of tarnish over time. Its shine diminishes and it gets this aged patina look. With some pieces, I think this can be a good look. But personally, I like to shine my favorite jewelry so they look like they did the day that I got them. It just gives a sharper contrast against my skin and the mostly dark colors of clothing that I wear. I love silver. If you're not sure something you have is silver, look carefully for the 9.25 stamp somewhere. The difference between tarnished silver that needs to be polished is that one will look like it's peeling to show the underlayer. With belts, I like to do the same basic thing I do with my hats and my scarves. I hang them. Mostly so all of my accessories are in the same place. Also, since they're leather belts, I do the same thing as I do with my jackets. Every so often I'll brush, clean, condition, and polish them. With the constant bending and folding of the belt, cracks and peeling is even more prominent. So it's more important to keep that up so they don't look terrible, especially since we're going to be wearing them for a while. With pants, pants don't necessarily need to be hung up in my opinion, but if you have the space, it does make it easier because you don't have to constantly iron creases out. Again, always pay attention to the labels. How you wash these is very important to reduce damage. My favorite pants are hung up from the hangers that are meant for pants and bottoms. These are the ones that have the clips at the top. Honestly, I think over time there will be small marks from the clamps on the waistband, but what are you gonna do? I personally rather that than having the pants crumpled or having permanent creases in weird areas because of the heavier material they're made from. This is honestly what I spend most of the time upkeeping. I don't really look at it as a chore either. It's sort of cathartic to me. Most of my shoes are black leather boots, and to get a certain level of shine, it takes time. Same basic process as the jackets, since we're working with the same material, and the same concept applies here. It just takes longer to take a brush to get off scuff marks and dirt, since there's going to be way more of that built up on your feet. Like these military boots I wear most of the time, as you can probably see. I constantly clean and shine them because I wear them the most. But the difference between them at the worst condition and a fresh shine is worth all the effort to me. Wooden shoe trees will absorb any extra moisture you don't want being built up in your shoe. You don't want water and moisture constantly on your leather. It will dry it out and make it start to crack. It's especially obvious on shoes when the leather doesn't have any upkeep. It's too often where people buy all these clothes and spend a good amount on them, just to not take care of them and go out and buy more. This is what I do to make sure the clothing I do have will last me a pretty good amount of time. Here's a question though. What's your favorite item in your wardrobe that you'd like to keep for as long as you can? Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you sticking to the end, and hopefully you learned something from this. If you're not subscribed, you should, if you like this type of content anyway. And I'll see you in the next one.